It's the Steel Toe Morning Show. How are you? I'm Aaron Imholt. Welcome. Hi, everybody. Let's talk about your favorite leftover Halloween candy. Hey, everybody. What the heck happened to my... What? Whoa, jeez, that's scary. I forgot how much of a pause there was in Bulls on Parade before it started up again. Oh, that legitimately scared the hell out of me. Oh, and I got the clean version, so I can't get in trouble. How wonderful is that? Welcome. It's the Steel Toe Morning Show. I'm Aaron Imholt. The day after Halloween, as I was doing my fake hack radio bit, what's your favorite leftover Halloween candy? What? Hey, we got a caller on the line. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
Well, you see, it's the leftover Quaaludes that the mothers of the children didn't take because he was up.
Hate when Bill Cosby calls into the show. Just hijacking the phone lines. That's all he does. The video feed is up. Brought to you by Tactical Advantage in Waite Park. TacticalAdvantageMN.com. Go there, check out their calendar, their list of events in the shooting range, their selection of firearms, ammunition, accessories, etc. They also have classes, your carry permit and whatnot, TAPS classes, some Tuesdays. Go check the calendar at TacticalAdvantageMN.com. Well, here we go. We've got a couple of big things to talk about right away in this first segment, and we're going to put, I think, part of this segment on YouTube later in the day, just a little clip, because I think the first part is important, and it has something to do with, something I've went through before and something I've had a lot of time to think about, and something as a comedian and also an entertainer on the radio I defend to the death, and that is the right for people to make jokes about absolutely anything. And it's weird when you talk to people who don't enjoy comedy or they don't like comedy. Here's the difference between people who don't like comedy and people who don't like pretty much anything else. Like, I don't like, it's not that I don't like Stranger Things, never watched it. I don't like Orange is the New Black. Orange is the New Black doesn't bother me. Orange is the Black, if it ever offended me doing something, that's fine. I deal with it. It's not Orange is the Black's or Orange is the New Black's fault that something they did maybe bother me. That's me. That's how I perceived it. Comedy is the only one in which it's really different. And the reason I bring this up is because somebody reported a thing we did yesterday on Facebook. They didn't even listen to the show. They reported, and it was not Natalie, before anyone gets all wonky. They reported the story we did about the World War II themed restaurant in Alabama yesterday. We thought it was funny because we got in trouble for a stupid joke that somebody made. It wasn't a big deal. And yes, people were offended. And I'm sorry that it upset two people in the entire world. And that's the thing. You upset two people in the entire world. If those two people have letterhead, all of a sudden somebody's life can be ruined or that person can be bullied. That's really odd. But it got reported and it disappeared. It went away. And I wasn't annoyed by it. It didn't bother me because it was on Facebook. I do a radio show. I don't do a Facebook show. We have a video feed up on the Steel Toe Morning Show Facebook page. That's just a little added value for people who want to see my stupid face, which shouldn't be that many people, and it isn't that many people. We got the streaming, we got everything else. But we put a video feed up because it's fun. And people take that Facebook stuff way too seriously. They see a thing on Facebook, and then they look into the comments section, and then they hold the people who run the page responsible for the things that are in the comments section. And it's not that you're upset with these people, it's that you're frustrated with those types of people because they're not being smart, and they're not using reasoning, and their logic is terrible, and they're just looking for the next outrage. And there's people who live their lives outrage to outrage, and I can't imagine those people are happy. If you live your life outrage for outrage, or outrage to outrage, and you're just looking for the next thing to be upset by or the next thing to be offended by, and then you think that because you're offended that somehow you should be able to do something to somebody, I'm sorry, but you're the tyrant. You're the bully. You are, I'm sorry, the bad guy. And I think this is really important because I keep hearing this question from people. And it is so the wrong question. And we'll take your thoughts on this on the Steel Toe Morning Show Facebook page. You can write in. But it is so the wrong question when I hear, and I had somebody ask it to me again yesterday. I won't say who. But they asked me, well, is it ever okay to joke about X? You know, and I won't say what the topic they used is because it doesn't matter because we're talking about principles. I think the people who get offended so easily have no principles. Or at least if they have principles, they don't abide by them because a principle is something you abide by. It's not situational. If you drop a principle because of the situation, then you don't have that principle. You can say you do, but then you don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand the meaning of the words you're using. Like Nazi. People who use the word Nazi over and over don't understand that the Klan and neo-Nazi groups have less than 10,000 members combined in a country of 350 million. It's not a thing. It's microscopic. It's infinitesimal. So when you say you have principles, but then you say, oh, but I should be able to go after this person because I feel bad. No, you're being miserable now. You're not being offended. You're being miserable, and you chose to make yourself that way. So when it comes to the question of what is okay and what isn't okay to joke about, the answer is very simple. There is nothing that can't be joked about. And not only is it okay to joke about anything, you should fight for people's right to joke about absolutely anything. Not only their right to say it, but their right to not be fired, their right to not be bullied, their right to not be pressured, their right to not be harassed. I've been harassed. I've been bullied for jokes I've told. You suck it up, you move on with your life, even though I was a victim a few weeks ago. You're not a victim if you're offended by a joke. And we have to make this clear because a lot of people in our society today don't get it. And if you don't get that in America, then you don't get the very foundation of what it is to be an American, which is free speech, free expression, and the ability to go about and make your own way, completely untethered by the pressure of others. You don't understand that concept if you think there are things we shouldn't be joking about. First of all, dark humor is extremely important. There are people, I know people in my own life who are victims of sexual assault, people who are victims of rape, who use dark humor to get past that. Now, there are people like social justice warriors, like people in this very area, who think that you should never joke about rape. And I know they don't mean it. And I know that you mean well. But you have to stop thinking you know what's best for other people. Because if you're going to say you can't joke about rape, and therefore, if you've decided as the moral arbiter that you can't joke about that thing, you've now taken away a very useful tool that some victims have to cope and move on. If people joke about stuff to get past it, if people use dark humor to get past a certain piece of subject matter, you don't have any business critiquing whether or not that person can do it. It's already been decided in this country that they can do that. And if you say, well, I have my own experiences with that same topic, so I don't think it should be joked about, then you enforce that in your own life and you leave everybody else alone. You do not have a right to arbitrate what is or is not okay to joke about. And then I wrote about this yesterday, and someone said, well, that doesn't mean that you're not a jackass if the joke isn't funny and I can't call you a jackass. You really shouldn't call them a jackass because what you're talking about is something that's subjective. You didn't think the joke hit. Maybe somebody else did. If the joke didn't hit, move on. And I know that sounds unfair because mommy and daddy raised you that you're the most important person in the world. I can guarantee you we're not. But when it comes to, I didn't think that was funny, therefore I should be able to call that person a jackass. Yeah, but then you're the jackass if you do that. Because you've decided now that you're the arbiter of what is funny. You're the arbiter of what can and cannot be joked about. So therefore, if you think that that joke makes that person a jackass, there you go. There's the trial. There's the verdict. Now let's prosecute the person. Let's punish them. You're not the good guy. And I know people like that think they're the good guys. I'm begging you to change your life for the better. I'm like a preacher now. I'm Robert Tilton. I'm begging you to change your life for the better because you're not the good guy. You've been fooling yourself your entire life. People use dark humor to go after things and move on from things and address things. And who the hell are you to tell a victim or somebody like that they can't use the coping mechanism that they want to use? And what's funny is the people who believe in dark humor, the people who believe you should be able to joke about anything, would never treat you that same way. These people that you think are so offensive and so terrible These people would give damn near their lives to fight for your right to say something or do something. And you would not do the same thing for them. And that makes you the shameful person. I don't care how offended you are. Being offended doesn't make you righteous. Being offended doesn't make you a better person. Being offended is just, that's how you felt. That's a feeling. Your feeling does not give you carte blanche to go and demonize people, to terrorize people, and to bully people. And just because you think that it's an inappropriate joke to tell doesn't make your bullying righteous. You're still a bully and a hypocrite and a person with zero principles. So when I hear people say that you can't joke about this, you can't joke about that, that is absolute dog vomit. It is not true at all. You can joke about whatever you want. And people say, oh, well, it might be funny, it might not be funny. Patrice O'Neill, I have to give him credit for this. He had a great line about it. He said a funny joke and an unfunny joke comes out of the same birthing process. A funny joke, an unfunny joke, they come from the same place. And until they hit the air, until they come out into the world, you don't know if it's funny or not. So you're not fighting for the joke. So that guy who said, oh, it might not be funny, that is immaterial when it comes to dark humor. First of all, that's subjective. But second of all, unfunny and funny come from the same place. Not only do you have to fight for the right of that person to make a funny dark humor joke and not bully them when you don't like it, but you also have to fight for the attempt. You have to fight for the attempt. Even if someone tries to make a dark humor joke and it doesn't hit, you still have to go, hey, leave that person alone. They tried. They gave it a shot. Oh, well, I was offended. Well, here's what you do if you're offended. And I don't care what your personal experience is. I don't care if you had a horrific thing happen to you that has to do with that topic. You have to remember that that person was not attacking you with that joke. You took it upon yourself to feel offended based on your experience, and that's fine. But that's personal. You don't get to project that on other people. And we have a lot of people out there who feel really righteous because what they've been through, who feel like they can project that onto other people. The minute you cross that threshold, you become in the wrong. You become the bad guy. You become the bully. I thought that was really important to address today, and we'll put it up on the Steel Toe Morning Show YouTube page a little bit later on.